Today is 3rd July 2025, and according to Indian lunar calendar, as per Vikramaditya Samvatsar, the name of this Samvatsar is Kal Yug, 2082 Samvatsar. The auspicious month is Ashad, brighter phase, and 8th day of brighter phase. The day is Thursday, and the nakshatra is Hasta nakshatra. We are here in the 102nd part of our ongoing Gita lessons, and thus we are going to start our discussion from the 11th mantra of the 14th chapter. I will request you all to please do kindly share the link, video link at your status, so that we all could collectively spread the message of Gita Ji. Therefore, I will request you all, did you share this video link on your status? Yes and no. This is the poem for today. I will request you all to please do kindly share. Now from the 11th mantra. Now we should focus in our study. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivriddham sattvamithyuda. Sarveshu chakchuradishu jnanadvareshu yada vastu yathatmya prakashe jnanam upajayate tada asmin dehe sattvam pravriddham iti vidyat. Whenever Gyan, the motive, the motto to attain the real knowledge about everything, the real concept of this Prakriti, Jivatma and Paramatma, while experiencing the different objectives of this world by the sense organs, like that of the eyes, whenever such tendency to attain the real experience, the real knowledge, that is the real jnanam, that arises in you, arises in your organs, arises in your behavior, then you should understand that, oh, the satogun is increasing in a lump amount in within you. The 12th mantra. Let's see how we can understand the increment of Rajogun in within us. The answer is in the 12th mantra of the 14th chapter. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmana mashamaspriha rajasyeta nijayante vivriddhe bharatarshabha. Lobha swakiya dravyasya atyagashilata. The tendency of the thing that, what do you mean by lobe? The greed. What do you mean by greed? That if you don't have the tendency to donate anything, to provide anyone anything, any such thing which you really love or which is your own thing, that is lack of tendency of providing or getting providing anything or getting detached from material which is under your control. That is called greed. Pravritti, prayojanam anuddishya api charana swabhavata. What do you mean by pravritti? The tendency that the activeness without knowing the motto of any action. If you feel yourself to be active in that action, then that is called a pravritti. That is called tendency. Arambha karmanam phalasadhana bhutanam karmanam arambhe udyoga. Karmanam arambha. The practice of beginning any action by knowing, by understanding the fruits which are to be the outcome after performing any action. Such process, such phenomenon is known as the beginning of any action, that is arambha karmanam. Ashamaha indriya anuparate. The satisfaction of any sense organs in the behavior or in the satisfaction in showing affection towards any material, any objectives by any sense organs results in stabilizing that sense organs. Means it starts to be in the mode of rest. Here it is saying anuprati, ashama, means the lack of achievement of such rest by the sense organs, means the tendency of sense organs to be restless towards other objects is called ashama. The organs, the sense organs are not in a controlled manner. They are very vibrant towards attaining any objectives. This is called ashama. Spriya vishayecha. What do you mean by spriya? Affection. Affection towards the different objectives to be attained or to be availed by the different organs. Etani rajasi pravriddhe jayante. These all things happen when the rajoguna, is increasing. Yada lobhadiyo vartante tata raja pravriddham iti vidyat ityartha. It is known that whenever the rajoguna increases, then the greed and the tendency and all other such qualities which had been described in the 12th mantra, the 14th chapter, gets increased. Now we will understand the effect of increment of tamoguna. Aprakasho apravrittasya pramado moha evacha tamassetani jayante vivriddhe kurunandana. O Kurunandana, aprakasha jnana anudaya. When there is lack of arrival of experience of jnana, then that is called aprakasha. Means lack of light, lack of knowledge, shows the lack of luminosity. Apravritti cha stabdhata, the tendency of idleness, to show idleness towards performing the actions which had been prescribed by the Vedas. This is called apravritti. Pramada akarya pravritti phalam anavadhanam. To be unattentive and thus getting engaged in performing the different actions which had been banned, which had been prohibited by the Vedas. That is called pramada. Moha viprita jnanam. The falsehoodness, the misconcepts about different things. That is called the Viprita Jnanam, is known as Moha. Moha results to the misconception in your life. Etani tamasi pravritte jayante etai tama pravriddam iti vidyat. These all things are felt only by the increment of tamogun. Whenever tamogun increases, these things are to be present in your life. So whenever this happens, control yourself. This is the message of 14/13. Now we are here with the 14/14 mantra. What happens when the increase in Satogun is available at the time of death? When you are at the time of last moment, and at that time you are in the mood of you are feeling the increment in Satogun, what happens? Yada sattve pravriddeto pralayam yati dehabhrit tadottam vidam lokan amalan pratipadyade. Yada sattam pravriddham tada sattve pravridde dehabhrit pralayam maranam yati. At the time of death, if anyone feels or experiences the increment in Satoguna, Chet Uttama Vidam Uttama Tattva Vidam Atma Yathatma Vidam Lokan Samuhan Amalan Malarahitan Agyan Rahitan Pratipadde Prapnoti, then that Jivatma attains the lokas full of Gyan and lacking a Gyan. The lokas which are made for the real knowledgeable persons, real scholars who had understood the essence of Atma, they who had experienced the Atma Sakshatkar. Chatte pravriddetu mrida atma vidam kuleshu janitva atma yathatma jnana sadhaneshu punya karmasu adhikaroti iti uktam bhavati. In a simplified level, Bhashyakaar explained there that whenever any person experiencing increment of Satogun, he dies then he takes the next birth in the family of a person where his family members are always engaged in the knowledge related to Atma Sakshatkar. At that place, at that moment, he is, you can say, he is benefited by an option to experience much and more knowledge related to Atma Sakshatkar. And thus, he experiences the Atma Sakshatkar finally. So this is the benefit to experience the increment of Satogun at the time of death. Now, what happens when anyone dies and at that moment he is experiencing the increment in Rajogun? Let's see. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tatha pralinastamasi monayonishu jayate. We are going to learn the effect of increment of Rajogun and Tamogun at the time of death by anyone. First of all, the Rajogun, increment in Rajogun, what happens? Rajasi pravritte maranam prapya falartham karma kurvatam kuleshu jayate tatra janitva swargadi falasadhana karmasu adhikaroti ityartham. If someone is experiencing death while experiencing the increment in Rajogun, then what happens? Then that it takes the next birth in such families where his relatives, family members, all are engaged in performing actions related with fruits, and thus he takes birth there. And thus, while and thus in the continued practice of such karmas attached with fruits, he is benefited by the, you can say, by the option to attain heaven and other such lokas. Now about the tamoguna. Tatha tamasi pravriddhe mrito mooda yonishu swashu karati yonishu jayate. Sakala purushartharambhanar ho jayate ityartha. That if someone is experiencing death, and while death he is experiencing the increment in tamogun, what happens? That the result is that he takes the another birth in the form of cooker and shooker, that means in the form of a dog or the pig. Because, and thus he is, you can say, prohibited from performing the Vedic karmas. What was the characteristic of tamogun? That while experiencing, while he is increasing in tamogun, means he is always engaged in performing such actions which had been prohibited by Vedas, and he is feeling idle towards performing the actions prescribed by the Vedas. Means he is not showing interest towards the Vedic karmas and showing full interest towards the karmas prohibited by Vedas. So there is disinterest toward the Vedic karmas and interest towards the karmas being prohibited by the Vedas. So in that case, that Jivatma is put in the form of dog and pigs. So there is no any rule of Vedas on them. Be there and perform such actions. So this is the effect of a person, the effect of increment in tamogun at the time of her death. Now the 16th mantra. Karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukkham ajnanam tamasa phalam evam satta vriddau. Now here we will say that what happens in the continued level of births being provided to a Jivatma, the continued increment and the achievement in the later births. We will understand this thing in the 16th mantra. Evam satta vriddau maranam upagamya atmavidam kule jatena anushtitasya sukritasya phalavisandhi rahitasya madaradhan rupasya karmana phalam punah api tatah adhik sattva janitam nirmalam dukha gandha rahitam bhavati iti aho sattva guna parinam vidah. As if the Jivatma is experiencing the increment of Sattva at the time of death, then there is availability to attain a birth in the family of Atmajnani, those who were interested in Atma Sakshatkar. And at that time, he is performing actions without getting attached with the fruits, and perform those actions in the form of upasana towards me. That's why the more and more Sattva gets increased, and thus he attains the nirmal level, means the status of life having freed from the sorrows, pains and griefs. And thus this is the fate, or you can say the result of those who dies in the status of increased Sattva. Now about the Rajagun. Antyakala pravriddhasya rajasa tu phalam phalasandhana karma phasangi kule janma phalavisandhe purvaka karma arambha tat phalanubhava punarjanma rajo vriddhi phalavisandhi purvaka karma arambha parampara rupam sansarikam dukkha prayam eva iti aho tadguna yathatma vidah. If there is an increment of Rajogun at the time of death, then what happens? Then that person is again provided birth in such families where people are engaged in performing actions, related actions with attached condition with the fruits. And they are all, he enjoys the fruits of the actions, then again takes births, Then again there is the increment in Rajogun. He again performs such actions which is related with the fruits, again enjoys the fruits, and again the Rajogun is increased. And in this way he attains the lokas and the upper lokas, and such increment in such lokas where he will be attaining the fruits of different actions will be benefited by that Jivatma who is experiencing death while increased level of Rajoguna. Ajnanam tamasa phalam evam antakala pravyadasya tamasa phalam ajnana parampara rupam. Similar is the condition of those who are experiencing the tamoguna, that he is going to take birth in the lower, inferior and much more inferior levels of species where he will be experiencing much more tamoguna actions. Means he will be performing a lot of actions which had been prohibited by the Vedas, and he will be having increased disinterest towards the actions which had been prescribed by the Vedas. So this is the effect to get death, to feel death while experiencing increased amount of tamoguna in your life. So Ajnanam tamasa phalam evam antakala tad adhik sattvaadi janidam nirmaladi phalam kyam iti atra aha. Now the confusion is that how is the increased level of sato guna resulting towards the nirmal dhyan, the nirmal fruit. So this will be discussed in the 103rd episode, that is tomorrow. A noble request. I see a lot of persons join live session. I pay thanks to all of you. My friends, I will request you all to please do share this video link at your status so that we could collectively join to share the message of Gita Ji to this world. And in this way, I need your support. Please do kindly share this link so that daily we try to learn 5 or 6 mantras. Today we discussed 11 to 16 mantras of the 14th chapter. And in this way, Gita Ji is a very much essential need at this time. People are full of hatred, jealousy, envy. They are feeling depression. They are showing anger towards each other. Either it be in the family, either it be in the couple life, either it be in the relatives, or either if you talk about the world level, everywhere there is a stupid competition going on. We don't know where we are going to run and what we are going to achieve, but we are running and running and running. We are restless. And in this race, the lawful things are left. The truth is being left behind. We need to think over the situation in this present modern world. And to think over that thing, to join hands with the deprived, to join hands with the lawful persons, to join hands with the righteous persons. We need Gita Ji, and that is my little effort to try to translate the most authentic description on Gita Ji before you all. I will need your help. Please do kindly share this video link at your status so that most of the persons could get benefited. Thanking you tomorrow again with the mantras from 17th mantra of the 14th chapter. Jai Sri Manara.